Hey guys, we have Nick's first place Cyberse Gadget Eldlich profile. Nick, let's have you tell us a little bit about this deck.
So I've been a big fan of like the Synchro Eldlich deck from like a year ago when they played Jet Synchron, and this is the closest thing to it that I could like play that I felt was like good. So and I also just really like Cyberse cards, so I ended up playing this because I don't know, I've been playing or I guess theoring this deck since like October, and in my testing it has done pretty well. So I wanted to test it at a something bigger than my locals in my test group.
Awesome. Alrighty, let's get right into the deck profile. If we want to just start, I guess, from the top and go down.
Okay, so yeah, the all star of the deck, the reason I play his deck is Cyberse Gadget. He's just a level 4 Cyberse, and his summon effect is actually like playable. It's when he's normal summoned, you can target a level 2 or lower in the graveyard and spell summon it. Uh, that effect barely comes up because the only level 2 or lower I play is Gamma, and obviously Gamma in the graveyard doesn't really happen often outside of like discarded for signing mining or like you Gamma it on your turn, so that effect really doesn't come up. It comes up more if you play like Effect Veiler, but yeah, the main reason you play the card is its second effect. When it's sent from field to graveyard, it summons a level 2 Cyberse token. And so the reason this guy's better than like playing like the Needle Fiber engine or anything like that is Gadget cannot be impermed. You can't Veiler it, you can't Ash it. So those three things make it real. Like you're guaranteed to summon two monsters, and what you can do with just two Cyberse monsters does a lot more than most like one card engines. Like I was testing cards like Tour Guide, the DD engine. All those type of engines are cool, but they just lose their hand trap extremely hard. Whereas like if I go summon Gadget, and then you can get to cards like Link Disciple and Link Devotee, and like they don't generate the most advantage in the world, but they do something more than just losing to a hand trap and like passing nothing. So that's the reason I played this card. It's a white monster. You can search it offline. You can do a lot of cool things with it just for one monster. Yeah, you get like lots of access. You can play like Link Garibo, like the Link Devotee and Disciple are like the main big things. But yeah, there's just a lot of cool interactions with that. And then yeah, I play 3 Sign and Mining because I just always want to open the normal summon. Because like all the matches I bricked are mainly because I didn't see Cyberse Gadget or the Fusion Destiny in my hand. So you always want to see Gadget or Fusion Destiny in your hand. Like so you basically want to open one of like 9 of the 40 cards in your deck, at least one of them, to play the game. So yeah, and then I play the Eldlich cards. It's the best engine to splash with this because inherently this deck is just DPE Turbo with Scythe. So you can in the DPE interactions with Eldlich cards is just amazing because it fixes the issue where if you open the golden lands, you can't get to Sanguine, but because you can always just pop them on in phase, and it makes cards like Eldland just so much more strong because it means you get the whole Eldlich engine going in like off of one card because you can just search like Huaquero or Conquistador and then pop it to get to Sanguine. So like it makes that card so much better. Going second Eldland's insane because getting to Golden Lords just helps break fields. So yeah, the Eldlich engine is just really strong, and it just provides free monsters. So like you just randomly a lot of people think this is a trap deck. I don't play that many traps to be honest. Like it is really just Eldlich cards and droplets, chalices, and imperms. So like sliding Lightning Storm against me really sucks ass because I don't really care if my cards get destroyed because as long as my Scythe resolves, I'm like cool. And like I play cards, I play lots of hand traps, so like I don't lose to cards like in games 2 and 3 to like Lightning Storm and Twin Twister and Red Reboot. Like sure, those cards can hurt if my board's like average or meh, but like I just want to get the same. I just want the Eldritch cards in play, and as long as I can grind with them, they're really strong in that sense. And most decks just can't handle like having Eldritch cards, having a DPE, having Celestial, Dasher, and like hand traps. Like there's just too much on like every part of my possession. So that's the reason I play the Eldritch cards. They work really well with like signing mining. They work well with DPE, and yeah, they were pretty good. I hate Golden Lord. I really hate drawing that card going first. Going second, it's a way better because yeah, you can just discard a spell or trap, and then like you're getting free value. Because the Golden Lord, even though I didn't play against any Sword Soul, Golden Lord just breaks their whole board. Next, I played for the hand traps. I played 3 Ash, 3 Gamma, and Driver. Uh, Gamma was like okay. Like I really didn't resolve it much, but in my head, it was like in my testing, it was pretty good because like Silent Mining always gets ashed. A lot of people just randomly ash Eldlich. A lot of people ash Fusion Destiny. And going second, I think Gambit's just like the best hand trap. Like I don't think it's really a debate, unless you're gonna talk about like Ecclesia against Sword Souls, and then it's like that's like the only like match where it's like meh. But most matches, Gambit's just like the best hand trap. So going second, it's like who cares how good like it is because like it's usually just the best. I mean, going first, it can be meh, but I do play Lambda, and like you can make Lambda, so it's not the worst. I don't know if I would play it again, but yeah, it was probably the worst card in my deck. Even not because like I bricked on it much, mainly because I just didn't resolve it much, and it was just there. But I guess it's more like when you have tactics and you're already winning, like or like you already have combo through a hand trap. I don't know how else to describe it.
Feels win more, yeah.
Yeah, it feels win more. But at the same time, like maybe this should have been Valor. So yeah. And then I played Ash. I mean, Ash is insane. It's the best. Like it's the best hand trap. I love that card so much. Even though I said Gamma's like the best going second, ashing Fusion Destiny or just ashing Bird Calls. Like my last round, I played against Weirdo Tri Brigade. My only hand trap was Ash, and he opened like Small World into World War plus like some Wagtail, and I just held the Ash for the Bird Call because I let him recital for Cobalt. So he was gonna summon the Cobalt out of his hand. But since I Ashed the Bird Call, he just couldn't combo and he just passed, and I ended up winning that game, which is cool because I don't think most people know when to Ash Wheel's Tri Brigade like at the right time. So I don't know. This card is just like this card is always live against every like rogue deck. It's just very strong, and like even though it's not the best versus everything, it just does enough. And I think that's the reason I would play it. And then I played, and then all the bricks. Like I drew Scythe like twice the tournament. It resolved. I said it one time, and my opponent Lightning Stormed me because everyone sided in Lightning Storm against my deck. And the Scythe resolved in the hand I bricked, and I guess it did end up winning me the match, even though like I won in time. So that was cool. Celestial and Dasher, those cards just sucked to draw. I drew Dasher and Celestial a couple of times in the tournament. And of course, it was always in the game 3 when it mattered most, but in the end, I persevered, and I still won because people just cannot play under pressure, apparently, today. I played 3 Fusion Destiny. This card's, insane. DP is, like, the actual win condition of my deck, if I'm being serious. Like, that if my opponent clears the DP, it's probably a bit of a struggle. But, this card's insane. I wish I would have drawn it more. At least going second, or, like, a lot of game 3s, I just did not draw it, and I was like, man, this card stinks. Like, why I play 3? Why can't I draw it? Same with droplets. Didn't draw droplets so much. I thought like everyone says this card's insane. Literally everyone tells me this card's insane. And in this tournament, I might have drawn it like once or twice, and it was just okay. Like the card was never insane. I never really went second and broke a board, mainly because of the matchups I played against. I would say so. I can't really judge this card off this tournament, but it was just okay. You don't need this card to play this deck. Like you could definitely cut it for something else, and you'd probably do just as well. And then I played 2 Chalice. This was like the last decision. I was going to play Effect Veiler, but I just felt like Chalice and Droplets should be just better going second. And like they do the same thing usually most of the time. And yeah, I didn't really draw Chalice that much. I just really wanted for like Weirless Tri Brigade and like Sword Soul and all those fan night decks. Because usually their boards like are just, it takes 2 Mosh negates and you're like at least have a chance. So yeah, that's why I played Droplets, Chalice, and Veilers. And then I played the Call By. Didn't really draw. I drew like once or twice. Didn't really use it. Card's cool. I mean, it's just Call By. It's a very good interactive card. And then for my extra deck, I played 1 Link Spider. It comes up a lot with like tokens or the Golden Lands. I played. Or you get Nib. And then, you just summon Golden Lord back and make Verte or something. I play the Link Grievo. This is just a way to play around trap cards that most people don't think about. So this card can be insane. I also use it just mostly to make nightmares because like the 2 tokens have the same name, so you just swap them out for a Link Grievo, so you don't have to waste your Link And then I play 1 Link Disciple and 2 Link Devotees. So you play 2 Devotee to trigger Dagda, so you can set Scythe. And so if no one knows what these cards do, Link Disciple says you can whatever it points to, you can tribute it to draw a card and put a card on the bottom. So like Fairjet and Tri Brigade. So that's like the reason. Like I guess my deck kind of works really well. Like I play like a decent amount of bricks, but you can always just put them back if you draw one Cyberse Gadget. So it rewards you for playing more bricks, but like at times, obviously, the bricks overcome this. But yeah, like you can put back scythes, you can put back dashers. So like it's really very very nice. Like that effect is insane. And like if they stop this, it's cool because you still get 2 tokens, so they just went -1. Because yeah, Link Devotee says when it's summoned, you can't summon Link through your hires. It's mandatory, so it has to trigger. And then yeah, when it's co-linked and tributed, you summon 2 tokens. So that's how you get to Dagda, because you go like you normal summon Gadget, you make a Link Disciple, Gadget summons a token, you use the token to make Link Devotee. You tribute, use Link Disciple effect, tributing Link Devotee, summon 2 tokens. And then you use a token and Link Devotee to make use Link Disciple and a token to make Dagda. Use the other token to make the second Link Devotee, trigger the Dagda, and then you make Verte. So that is the 1-card Verte Scythe combo I play. And yeah, it also lets you draw like cycle a card in your hand. So that's very strong. Yeah, the combo is insane. It makes the deck work. And then I play Lambda for the Gamma. It just randomly can come up. Verte, it's like obviously part of the combo. Play IP because some hands you can if you're like hard draw the Fusion Destiny and you don't like want to get to Dagda or like Scythe, you can always just make IP, or just like random times in games where you can just summon IP that like end on a unicorn. So that's very strong. It's not neat. Like I don't know if this card is needed, but like I just thought it was a pretty cool tech that can come up, and it did versus the trap Eldlich guy I played because the Scythe sucked against him. So I was like, I'll just end on Link Disciple IP, and on his turn I activated the Golden Land, made an access code, and like for trap Eldlich they can't really out an access code if it's already on the field. So that was very cool, and they can't destroy by card effects, so I don't have to worry about torrentials. I mean, they can't respond to the access code's effect, so you couldn't strike it, and I ended up just clearing this whole field. So that was very cool. Next I played Dagda. Yeah, this card is just broken. I mean, yeah, you get Scythe. I don't know why this card is like Scythe should be banned, but like I don't know why they put in this card while Scythe was legal. It kind of doesn't really make sense because like no one's playing pure artifacts. But hey, I'm not the head of card development. Lina is the Link monster I probably summon the most outside of like the Link Disciple and Link Devotee package. Yeah, this card is just insane. Like it just puts more monsters in the field. It can add Gadget, so that adding Gadget didn't come up, but in my playtesting it did. Yeah, this card's just insane. Like, God, everything's a white monster in my deck. Like Golem Land, Gadgets, the tokens, Link Disciple. It's like, why is everything a white? I don't know. This card's absurd. And then I played the Nightmares. I summoned Phoenix a lot. It helps play through Imperms and Veilers, especially since like it's like I didn't lose any cards out of it. So because then I can just make Verte. So yeah. Unicorn, I don't think I summoned this, but I mean, it definitely can come up. Like obviously, and the same with Access Code. I summoned this like once or twice. Yeah, still needed. You just need ways to like outboard or like kill your opponent. And then I played the DPE and Omega because I'm playing Gamma. And you can. There's some times where you can normal Ash and use Golden Land or Scythe to make Omega, and that comes up also.
Awesome.
And then for my side, I played 3 Lancia. I felt like I could handle the Tri-Brigade Leaderless deck if they just didn't have the Tri-Brigade part of the board. And played against that deck once, and I Lancia'd him, and I had Ash, and then he Tactics me, and he still ended on Robin some Org, so yeah, I lost. I mean, this card I thought was still good. Like, you can always, it helps with Scythe, because people like the evenly you, and you can set it out Dagda instead. So it just, like, more prevention. Like, it worked with Dagda really well. I play 3 Droll because I respect Leaderless and Drytron and, like, other random ass decks. So this card's pretty cool. 3 Nibiru's. This card's also, like, it's a free monster. This card bricked me a lot today, I'm not going to lie. For some reason, I was siding like 2 or 3, and I draw 2 every match. And, guess what? I still won, thankfully. But it was, like, not bad because that's what it did. It was bad because I always drew multiples. And I was, this is awful. I never drew Gadget or, like I said, Fusion Destiny in Game 3. It's like, they just did not want to be in my hand. But, yeah, this card, I just thought it was, like, super strong with, like, Gamma. Or, like, it just did enough. and most people just can't play around. I guess don't know how to play around. Excuse me, I'm sorry, in the beer room. But yeah, and then I play 3 Token Collector for Sword Soul. This is my Sword Soul is my deck's easiest matchup because Golden Lord just outs their whole board usually. But yeah, I still want to respect that deck. And didn't play against Sword Soul, so I didn't side his card in once. And then I played 3 D Barrier. In my head, the card was broken because it doesn't lose the Spell and Trap removal. So people keeps hiding Lightning Storms, Twin Twisters, and all that stuff. And I'm like, cool, D Barrier, call whatever. Didn't really use it, to be honest, so can't really say it was good or bad. But yeah, it was just in my head, like in my testing, it was good. Kind of a cool card. I was like, might as well play it. I didn't play any Spell and Trap removal because my deck just inherently destroys Spell and Traps deck. Like, they can't beat Golden Lord. And especially with the DPE. So, yep, that's the reason I didn't play any of that. And yeah, that's my deck.
Awesome. Now I see you have the 42 in the main deck. Would you change anything as far as the main deck going forward?
Oh yeah, I accidentally wrote 3 Huaqueros on my list. That card's terrible. Probably played 2. It's only terrible because usually you're just popping it with DPE anyways to get to the Sanguine, but like you just never needed the 3rd. I was complete accident. I didn't mean to play. I meant to play 41 with only 2 Huaqueros. And like you can probably cut this deck down to 40 if you thought about theorized it more. But like I decided to play this deck until like the last second, and I didn't even have it built, so I was kind of scrambling before the tournament. But it worked out. So yeah, I'd probably play 41 and cut out Huaquero.
Awesome. Now for the side deck, would you change that at all? Since you said Nib may have been good, may not have been good. Token Collector, D-Berry, would you change 8 or 9 of those cards for anything else moving forward?
Maybe I would put Lightning Storm in my deck or Cosmic, but truthfully, nah. I just like having a shit ton of hand traps because I think it plays around Spell and Traps a lot, and most people multiple hand traps do more than going second cards in my opinion because people are building their decks to be able to going second decks. Like Realist Tri Brigade ends on Oath with Apex, so unless you open droplets and evenly or droplets and Dark Ruler, those, I don't know, it just seems a lot easier to put in a lot of cards that work together. If you open Gamma and Ash against most decks, you probably have a chance. Or Ash and Nibiru, or there's just a lot of variation in hand traps that are enough to stop your opponent for me to just get a turn to play the game, and I think that's important. And I didn't feel evenly in dropless. I don't think my deck can, is that much of a combo deck that I can just start breaking through boards like that. So yeah, I didn't play any of those cards. But I think my deck was very solid. I wouldn't really change the side deck. Maybe the D barriers could be something else. But yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Now, do you have any shout-outs to give?
Yeah, shout out to Ozone. It's the best team in the world. They helped me test. This is where they helped me test this deck mostly. And yeah, without them, I wouldn't have this deck. And that's about it.
Awesome, Nick. Well, again, congratulations on first place, 7-0. It's impressive. I mean, there were Learless Tri Brigade, Evil Twin, Sword Soul, everything in there, right?
Yeah, it was everything. I played round 6. I played against Trappier. Sadly, I think the dude lost his last 2 rounds, me included. But yeah, that deck he was mopping people, and yeah, there was a lot of big names, I would say, if people want to quote that. But yeah, it was a very fun tournament.
Awesome. Well,
and we got free pizza. That was the best part.
Even better. Awesome. Well, congratulations. Hey, first place for our case tournament. It's pretty good. I am excited to see where this goes. Hopefully, we'll see it maybe at YCS Pasadena. Yeah. Did you have anything else to say?
Nah, I'm just very thankful for everyone who supported me.
Awesome. Well, again, congratulations, and hope to have you on again.